Hey guys, welcome back to the Emergency Storage Shed for episode 128. These weeks just keep rolling along, but we are making some substantial space in here. We've got, the last few episodes have been some really interesting mystery crates, and I've been quite amazed with what we've found and some really good value too. I'm keen to get into that stack of mystery boxes in the corner there, but we need to finish the shelf in the middle first. We have a bit of electrical stuff to sort out. I would rather just put it aside and keep going with the mystery boxes, but we have to be disciplined. We have to be tough and deal with everything and not cherry pick. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I haven't actually even had a good look at them. Let's do that together and make some decisions on how we can get this stuff out of the shed and what's best to do with it. Now, over the years, I've put stuff aside that really wasn't worth it. Sometimes I just don't know. I've been surprised with some things. It's kind of speculating a bit. And the next few items to get off this shelf here, we have an old National VHS. It might even be a beta one, I'm not sure. We have a dot matrix Epson printer. We have some sort of large boombox. I think that's a little parts drawer. Another vintage CRT monitor. We've had a lot of those. And I'm not really sure what's in that tub. Something electronic, I think. Might be computer related. And that's all we have to go to get this shelf unit out of here. Then we can start working on that Tower of Mystery stuff, and I really can't wait to get into that. There could be anything in there. So let's go. Top shelf here. Let's make decisions. The Epson printer or the National tape player or both. Let's get them through on the bench and work out what we're going to do with them. Okay, I grabbed the VCR because it was easiest to grab and it's the heaviest. And it's pretty beaten up. I don't think this is a restoration project, but I don't know what sort of value it's going to have otherwise. We'll have a look at this one first. Maybe we'll scrap it. Should I scrap it? Will someone want it for parts? Let's have a look. Well, the poor old girl has had a hard life. It looks like it's been stored in rather unpleasant conditions, much more unpleasant than my shed. Just looking in the top here, it looks like the door's been smashed off. It's a top loading unit, which is pretty cool. It's a model NV-2000 National VHS cassette recorder. So it's not a beta machine, but yes, it's got damage. The door's been broken off. It's missing the top cover there. It's very dirty and dusty. It looks like it's had wildlife living in here, a bird's nest or mice or something. I wonder if it still ejects, like it's supposed to pop up, I think. Oh, look at that. The mechanism still works. Perhaps it's like a garage, a below ground garage for a mouse. He can come into there and he can go down into his home and then a quick getaway from the cat. Pretty cool that that actually works. I thought that would have been seized up for sure. What am I going to do with it? Well, I had a look online. You can still buy parts for them. You can buy belts kits. You can buy the pinch roller, because the rubber's probably no good in there. I don't want a project like this, but someone might. Now, so, you know, if I scrap it out, realistically, we're only going to get about $5, if that, worth of scrap. There might be a reasonable circuit board in there. There might be a decent transformer, but only a few dollars worth. Admittedly, there'd be, you know, quite a bit of fun because it's, you know, it's cool pulling these things apart. But it may be better sold to someone either as a restoration project or for parts, because, you know, these are going back to over 50 years now, is it? Almost 50 years, early 80s. And I think it would be a shame to smash most of it up just for a few dollars worth of scrap. I might just clean it off and take it to the shop and put something like $10 on it. Certainly more than I'd get for scrap. And the right person may absolutely think it's Christmas when this turns up, and he might have parts to make 1 out of 2 or something. So that's my theory at this stage. Let me know what you think. If I have no interest, I will do a video on scrapping it out, but I'd prefer to find another home for it first. If anyone wants it, get me in touch with me. I don't really want to post it. Well, actually, I don't want to post it for $10, that's for sure. If someone says, hey, look, I'll give you $75 for it, and I'll then box it up and post it to you. But yeah, for $10, no, I don't want to. They're quite heavy, so postage would be expensive. But if you're local and you're interested, come and see me or send me a message. But that's my plan for that one. I'll wipe it down so it looks a little bit nicer, and we'll put it in the shop untested and obviously in need of some TLC for $10. And here's the dot matrix printer. It's an Epson LQ500. I did have a look online. There was a few of these in the States, I think, that weren't selling, but people ask a lot of money for these things. Look, I don't know what they're worth. I can't possibly test it as much as I'd love to hear that sound again, although I did find this sound for you to all listen to whilst we're having a look around it, and I hope it brings back some great memories for those of you who are old enough. There we go, doesn't that take you back? I used to have one of these in my small engine repair workshop when I started my business back in the 80s, and it would go all day printing out invoices. There'd be a great stack of paper. Remember, the paper had to have the little dots along the side, the little holes for it to drive through, continuous sheeting, and there's the little drive wheel things, and it would pump the paper through all day, and it folds it neatly, sort of folds itself as it comes out and ends up with a big pile on the floor, which I then had to tear off and put into envelopes and mail out to people all their invoices for their jobs I'd repaired for them. So I have fond memories of these machines. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get this going because I wouldn't have a computer with the right drivers. I don't have the cords to hook it up. I think they were a parallel port. Let's have a look in the back a bit better. Yeah, so I think that's a parallel port. It would date to the early 80s, I guess. Made in Japan. Doesn't actually have a date there. Model P78PA. It's in pretty good condition. A bit rusty around the serial port there, or the parallel port. And quite yellowed, as most of them are. I think this plastic was prone to yellowing with UV light. But it's not damaged at all. So the big question is what we're going to do with this. Well, I think much the same as with the National VHS, and I have wiped that up a little bit, looks a bit cleaner. I think I'm just going to wipe the dust off it, put it in the shop. I reckon I'll put about $30 on this. I think it would probably be operational with the right drivers and cords and things, and maybe a little bit of a service. There's nothing broken or damaged on this like the VCR has. So I reckon I'm going to put $30 on it in a shop, and who knows, someone might buy it to complete a vintage office, 1980s office computer outfit. And yeah, certainly good memories, and I hope you enjoyed that sound. Well, that printer cleaned up actually surprisingly well. I mean, yes, it's still yellow, but there's no breaks to the casing. All the covers are in good condition, even the back part, which props up and comes off, and there's another tray at the back. It's all complete. I didn't see any online with all the trays and everything with it. So I'm going to actually put $40 on that. Untested, great display item, great relic from the history of office computing. And so with 40 on that and still 10 on the National VHS player, $50 we're going to add to the notepad, and we'll see how we go. So that's $50 in the notepad for this week. Last week's episode had about the 400. I still have to get the car radios and the Trico washer assembly on eBay. I need to get back onto eBay, but I've been pretty busy of late. These things have only spent a day or day and a half in the shop. I have got a subscriber, Alan, who wants the torch. So I think we can mark that as sold, but we'll wait until that goes through. So that's good. We've been doing well with subscriber purchases lately. Thank you very much to everyone who has. Particularly from episode 127, the Art Nouveau tiles landed in Texas just yesterday, I think. I got an email from Elaine. So that's fantastic. They've found a loving home. I also sold the cast iron handle through the shop over the weekend, so I got $20 for that. And that was an interesting sale because I initially said $5, but upon checking, the old cast iron handles are pretty popular. And the other stuff has gone to subscribers there as well, as mentioned in the last video. And the week before, well, nothing much has sold lately. Remember, haven't been open that much because we've had a few trips to Melbourne for Christine's surgery and whatnot. Plus, it's the quietest time of the year in the middle of winter for the shop. But cool stuff like we've been finding, I'd like it to sit in the shop for a while. Sometimes I'm actually quite disappointed when something walks out the first weekend. So we're finding a lot of great stuff to make the shop interesting. And you know, sometimes I've been into antique shops, and I'm sure many of you will agree, and they have the most amazing stuff. There's huge enamel signs, there's petrol bowsers, there's very rare china and huge big table centerpieces. The most amazing antiques you'll ever see, and it's just incredible what stock the shop's got. But you go back 2 months later and it's the same, because the only reason they keep their good stock is that it's priced too expensive to sell. I like to sell my stock, but I kind of don't want it to go first weekend. So with this stuff, I'm not trying to liquidate, you know, and go back through the previous weeks and say, look, this is all sold, like we're doing with the e-waste series, because that stuff I don't want to hang around and it's priced to move quickly. But we're still doing pretty well. And as I said, thank you to the subscribers that have been purchasing. I'm happy to do that. On this stuff, no, I'm not really keen to, unless you offer me a price I can't refuse, because I don't like packaging up big things. It takes time, it takes materials. I've got to go to the post office, and you know, I've got enough to do. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Another episode complete. Our total for the emergency storage shed now has just passed $21,000. But that episode just last week with the car radios, I'll get those onto eBay because they could do substantially better. Anyway, it's going well. We're making space. We're making money. We're keeping you guys amused. Well, it's keeping me amused. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.